embedding an auditory cue that Cillian Murphy will be returning later this movie that only superfans of the original will recognize, thereby outing me as having spent way too many hours of my life rewatching these films. Letting children beyond any point. Okay, movie fans, first things first, this video is sponsored by Temu. We're back again, and we are switching it up with a groovy no-nonsense deal, a $100 coupon bundle. Yes, you heard that right. This is a brand new event that Temu put together just for us, right in time for all the major summer events. World Cup, 4th of July, my birthday, all the biggies. Pay attention, because if you miss the how-to, you miss the free stuff, and that would be a sin. To see if it's actually worth the hype, I had Temu ship over some of these essential items. In just a second, I'm going to unbox them and test them out for you so we can see if Temu is actually delivering on their promises or just blowing smoke. Speaking of which, the World Cup is about to start. Honestly, watching the matches is a lot like hosting a movie night. You need a great projector, a solid screen, and of course, plenty of drinks and snacks to keep the energy up. Let's dive in. I actually love this little projector. Look how cool it is. A small projector and screen are really just perfect for any space. All the links to these great products are in the description. Now follow along with me to get the $100 special deal. Download the Temu app by scanning the QR code, open it, and type my code into the search bar. Not at checkout. Don't forget this code. It's your key to unlocking a $100 coupon bundle. You can use the code to get the same great products I did for much less than retail price, or something else awesome. If you are a new user and don't quite trust Temu yet, that's completely fine. You can click the other link in the description to get a $20 off coupon. As a new user, you only need to have an order of $20.01 to use it. This way, there is almost no trial and error cost for you. And then you can decide whether you want to come back and claim the $100 coupon bundle. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code to access these deals. Now, back to the show. The world ended before this man could ever be forced to sit through a middle grade history class about the rarity of Tyrian purple dye in the Byzantine Empire. How does he know that this is the color of royalty?
I'll make it easier for you.
Hubris.
You dropped your knife.
Jimmy Shite is using a he won't be needing this anymore tactic, and that's my thing. I don't f***ing appreciate it. The Jimmies need to get their own shtick.
I'm gonna skin you with your own f***ing blade.
The pull-out method.
Jesus Christ. Jesus!
Being in a satanic cult and name-checking Jesus more than your Dark Lord and Master. I feel like what I've learned the most in these post-apocalyptic zombie/infected universes is that if the infected don't kill you, gingivitis just might. Why is brushing teeth the first thing to go when the apocalypse happens? Nerfing the zombies in your zombie movie to the point they provide 0 scares the entire film. What is causing that tower of smoke in the distance? If that is Kelson's people kiln, why does it take the Jimmies so long to discover it? 28 years later, The Bone Temple is not a great title, I guess. But it's even weirder that they're just nixing the 28 years later bit on the title screen. If you were changing channels and came across this title screen, you'd probably settle back, maybe take your pants off, and prepare yourself for some hot church sex action. And then less than 2 minutes later, this happens. And you're left explaining why you still have your pants off. Also, if you're asking what changing channels means, get off my infested lawn. Towers made of bones, trees, a single deer. Excitement? Discount Revenant here was able to get this close to the deer but hadn't gotten a shot off yet? Movie doesn't Katniss Everdeen correctly. Decapitation participation trophies. Not only do Dr. Kelson and Samson enjoy doing heroin together, but they also both share a passion for dismembering corpses and cleaning their skeletons. Plenty of time for hobbies after the end of the world. I agree it's strange that Samson has stopped mid-sprint, especially if it's something he hasn't done before, but I still don't understand why Kelson doesn't go ahead and shoot him, since Samson getting any closer can't be a good idea. Dr. Kelson is such a tease, just blow him already.
An infected patient.
This is strange.
Very. Kelson has a grand opportunity to kill the f*** out of Samson right now and doesn't take it. I know he told Spike in the previous film it was hard to bring down the ones like Samson, but has Kelson ever thought of, I don't know, cutting off the f***ing head?
I'm Dr. Kelson. Well, right now I feel more like Androcles, removing thorns from the lion's paw.
Including mythological allusions that I have to pause the movie to look up. I get Kelson's desire to help those in need, I guess, but why is he taking such a risk getting this close to Samson's open wounds? We saw in 28 Days Later how much damage one drop of infected blood in the eye could cause to an uninfected person. I know Kelson told Spike that the iodine protects him from the virus, but is he putting iodine in open wounds, his eyes, his f***ing nose? There are still places the blood can get that would cause him a whole lot of hurt. Kelson is a f***ing doctor. He should know better.
Just kidding. I'm NHS. No charge.
British humor. Leaving infected meat out for the crows to pick at is just asking the rage virus to mutate into the type of avian flu Alfred Hitchcock would have looked at and said, that's too much. Birds can't be that evil.
Birds just don't go around attacking people without no reason.
Abstract art really gets taken up a notch when we get to the apocalypse, huh? Showing us a few lit candles and expecting us to believe that fills the entire underground bunker with a uniform light. Unbathed ball sweat on your bed sheets. Blink and you'll miss Kelson's core backstory that explains why he's looking for a replacement son among the demonic and undead. Some men bring flowers to woo their dates. The Rage Apocalypse's #1 drug pusher brings morphine darts.
This is interesting.
It is not. Is Kelson seriously motioning Samson to come closer to him? This is Day of the Dead's Dr. Logan levels of crazy, but at least Logan had Bub chained up. These two are just out in the fucking wild where anything can happen.
I'm going to trust you, Samson.
But fucking why?
That's the decision I've made.
But seriously, fucking why?
Suddenly, I'm not entirely sure you understand Latin.
Why is Kelson assuming Samson even still or ever did understand English?
Or do I just give you peace and respite?
Yapping at someone who's just trying to enjoy their buzz. Getting high on your own supply. Also, Dr. Kelson will knock himself out with his own drugs right next to a tranquil Samson because I honestly have no fucking clue at this point. Going with a Dr. Kelson survives this and moving the fuck on with my life.
All still attached.
Kelson believes he has accomplished something here other than surviving stupidity, but he is not. And now Duran Duran's Ordinary World begins playing, I assume to underscore the irony that this world is anything but ordinary. However, I've decided that it more likely unintentionally implies that just because the world has decided your career is not at the height it once was, you can still come back some years later and create a banger of a record like the Wedding album, as if it was just yesterday you were selling millions of albums and touring the stadiums of the world and not nearly a decade of disappointing results. The only problem is that the first 28 years later was the Wedding album of late gestating horror sequels. Based on the box office results of Bone Temple, this feels more in line with Duran Duran's 2-year follow-up, Thank You. There aren't as many people humming along to Perfect Day or that weird cover of White Lines, but hey, maybe there's a little more dick on the bone or something. Previously on their sitcom spin-off, Dr. Kelson and Samson, Friends Till the End. Also, there has now officially been more Duran Duran played in the first 22 minutes of this movie than has been collectively heard on the radio for the last 22 years. When your friend's housewarming gift doesn't really fit the decor, but you feel obligated to display it anyway. In the previous film, they said that very few people even travel to the mainland where all the infected are. But now there are f***ing people everywhere between the Jimmies, who I still have zero clue how no one on Spike's Island knew about, and these assholes.
If he sees us, he's gonna scream.
So then I will walk out into the open where he will definitely see me and probably scream. We all good with that?
What about me?
Causing a problem and then being upset when the heavily pregnant woman doesn't let you drag her into it. Ah yes, I still love that this franchise's definition of how quickly someone turns after getting infected depends solely on how quickly the plot needs them to turn.
Tinky Winky decided to come back.
If only the apocalypse had happened 20 years later, we could be listening to Jimmy sadist-splain Bluey instead.
They had televisions on their tums. And on television they viewed themselves, but with another television on their tums.
When anyone describes Teletubbies, I have a hard time believing it was anything other than an excuse to get kids on hallucinogens at as early an age as possible.
Jimmy may do the Dipsy dance.
This is not, in fact, how Dipsy danced.
Are we not welcome?
You know you're not.
That's Jimmyist.
No, Dipsy dance.
Delivering the most insidiously real-world moment of misogynistic total control in the middle of my horror escapism movie. This woman's one character trait is running away whenever her family and friends are about to be killed. Fun.
Tinky Winky and the fucking apples.
Sadly, this is not the title of an episode of Teletubbies, and I would like to sin that. Characters wait till the last second to pull out their weapons to kill the infected because I guess they think it looks cool cliche.
Her name is Rio and she dances on the sand.
This movie is at least 4% Dr. Kelson singing Duran Duran out of tune.
You are fucking shitting me.
We expressed this like 20 minutes ago, Jimmy Inc. Keep the fuck up.
And old Nick saw that the world of man had failed.
I think Jimmy Crystal might need to take a look at Samson's generous endowments before he commits to believing the world failed every man. Jimmy could be referring to the world itself failing, but I'm too mesmerized and jealous right now to give a shit. Forehook shadowing.
These are my fingers. We travel the land.
Fingering people?
And we offer you charity.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
For the purposes of skinning humans, you really need better eyesight than these masks would provide. Or so I've heard.
You can't avoid this, kid. This is what we do.
Saying this as casually as you would if Spike were refusing to take part in a company potluck. They are f***ing skinning people alive in there.
Oh, come on. Please.
This works.
But there is something I can offer you.
Clothes? Repaying your friend for not killing you in your sleep by planning to kill him to keep the last of the drugs for yourself.
If there was just some way you could give consent.
To be fair, Kelson, you haven't f***ing asked for any consent for all the morphine you've been doping Samson up with, so why start now?
Moon.
Excitement? Oh, goody. Still doing the skinning. That's fun. 28 years worth of CinemaSins kind of fun.
I need strong fingers. Strong fingers make a strong fist.
If you genuinely wanted the strongest, you would have made this offer to the bigger guy hanging to the crying man's right, who already put up a fight with a pot of boiling water. Jimmy Liar wants the emotionally weak and controllable. The worst sin of all is Jimmy Liar lying to himself. The most unbelievable part of this movie is that this woman has managed to remain still and quiet enough not to be noticed by the Jimmys while her entire f***ing family is getting skinned alive.
Old Nick is here, Jimmy's.
I guess I should applaud this movie for not beating us over the head with nonsense like the humans are the real Walking Dead, but it still has the humans turning into crazy evangelical monsters when the apocalypse strikes cliche, so my hands are tied. Andy Serkis' son brought a backhand to a knife fight.
You chose me because you thought I was weaker.
I hate to agree with one of the Jimmys, but she's not wrong about his stupidity and the way he chose. He should have gone for the fucking kid who ran out of the barn and puked once they started the charity. Also, fucking sadists that make fucking great points. Just no.
There! Up there!
Launching a deadly attack and then standing around waiting for the survivors to see you before escaping. Letting yourself get so distracted by one survivor on the loose that you ignore the other survivor on the loose who has the motive and means to kill you.
I want her alive! Alive!
Taking Dr. Frankenstein's intellectual property in vain.
Kid! Catch her! Bring her to me!
Now Spike feels the need to help out Jimmy Crystal. Now! I know Spike's not going to shoot her with the arrow. Everyone who has seen a movie before knows that Spike's not going to shoot her with the arrow. So the suspense this scene is trying to build is non-existent.
Please. Please take me with you.
Expecting her to take you with her after holding her at arrow point and everything else that happened.
I'm confused. I thought I told you to bring the woman to me.
Jack O'Connell's Scottish accent isn't as good as his Irish accent.
She fought back and had to kill her.
This works.
Did you not think to cut off her face? Bring that to me. Or her unborn child.
Started to think Jimmy Crystal's requirements for employment are a little insane. And now Everything in Its Right Place by Radiohead begins playing, and using the same goddamn Radiohead song every other film or commercial has used since the year 2000 is getting you a sin, even though it's a banger of a song. And now I have to give myself a sin again for enjoying this repetitive and cliched nonsense. Those skulls do look suspiciously alike, almost like they came from a mold rather than from hundreds of real human heads. I'm now wondering if Kelson just looted a Hobby Lobby, and I kind of want to see that movie. Career opportunities in the post-apocalypse has a nice ring to it. So if we're to believe that morphine is the cure for the infected, then I would like to be infected right now. I guess the sin is on me. With limited space on his bunker bookshelf, Kelson still grabbed 2 copies of Food for Free by Richard Mabey, but having both editions does not unfortunately make the food twice as free. Doctors have illegible handwriting cliche.
Is that actually old Nick?
Is that actually old Nick? Is that actually old Nick?
Are we actually asking this question 3 times? Apparently more human awareness means more shame and self-clothing. How ironically biblical for this film about false Satanism. I f***ing the Skull Tower without the Skull Tower's explicit consent.
You're not old Nick.
I'm not old Nick.
This conversation, are you old Nick's on for all to some time.
Well, you can relax. I'm not Satan.
Citation needed.
Doctor. Atheist doctor.
Assuming people are atheists, even if they f***ing are, still makes an ass out of you and Ming.
I'm an atheist. You're a Satanist.
They're cousins, identical cousins all the way.
I don't mind talking.
I was going to say skip, but I had honestly watched an entire series of these therapy sessions, so the sin is for not giving us that.
I don't actually know my father too well.
Okay, never mind. Skip. Jimmy Ink is addicted to trees.
Orange skin, palace of bones, communing with demons.
You called it red skin last night. Was there an off-screen conversation where you and Jimmy Crystal suddenly both decided to start calling the color a less devil-relevant orange?
And that's not some old man.
To be fair, if that is Satan, he would most definitely be an old man.
Do you ever get the sense that Sir Jimmy is full of shite?
The only character in the villain's gang that realizes the villain is full of shite is the one who's played by an actor we recognize cliche. Also, stating the obvious to the obvious person who already obviously believes this about Sir Jimmy.
But what it was actually like to live with shops and fridges and telephones and personal computers. I have no real memory of that at all.
Bearing the lead on the real horror in this film.
There were dramas and upheavals inevitably, but the foundations, they seemed unshakable.
People who have this much hope.
If my mother and sisters had hid in the church, they'd have been all right.
Forgetting that the last film opened with child Jimmy's father throwing open the doors of the church to the infected and welcoming them in.
What about your father?
He was leading the infected.
Once again, I'm very confused about Sir Jimmy's belief that the mother and sisters would have been all right in the church. I would like to let this go, but the movie fucking won't, so why should I?
Always said charity starts at home.
Leaving out the minor detail that charity could involve skinning people alive.
And that was the last time you saw him?
Yeah, then I saw you, and...
Is 28 years later the Bone Temple trying to make us feel something for the guy who enjoys watching his followers torture people? I think 28 years later the Bone Temple is trying to make us feel something for the guy who enjoys watching his followers torture people.
If you can't help me with my problem, I'm going to force feed you your own intestines until you can no longer breathe.
Yes, that is a bind.
Kelson would be excellent at knowing when one is at a bind, Sins. But also, I think Jimmy is confusing a bind with a chokehold, and sadistic assholes like him should fucking know better. As I sit here and watch Jimmy Crystal give a bullshit speech to his legion, I don't give a shit about. I wonder if those sitting by a bright fire, taking in reasonably loud voices, remember there are still a bunch of infected out there ready to eat them all. I also ask this question because I believe the movie has forgotten.
Nobody may touch him.
The fact this has to be said to anybody before they meet someone for the first time.
Are we, Crystal?
Crystal.
At least the movie was nice enough to give Jodie Comer's character from the previous film a cameo.
I thought, what will happen to Samson if I'm gone?
Pretty sure Samson has survived just fine before Kelson started unconsensually doping him up.
They're coming back tomorrow, so I want to try something tonight.
Time to learn a new Latin phrase, Samson. Deus ex unnamed antipsychotica.
I've been developing an idea about the nature of the infection.
Exposition dumping on someone who is just starting to relearn English.
Seeing something that isn't there, a doctor would call that psychosis. And a doctor would say that psychosis can be treated.
Math or science. Your choice. I choose both.
I'm a doctor, Samson.
But not of psychiatry, and that seems to be the important element in this moment. I honestly can't figure out why Jimmy Crystal, or any of the Jimmys for that matter, have let Spike remain alive, and the movie has not given a single reason to help me understand. Also, is this really the first time Spike has tried to sneak away? He's been with them for days, and I'm going to assume they've all slept before in that time period. Spike survives this. Kind of him to just let her unalive him without using the knife in his stabbing hand to fight back. Also, I honestly can't figure out why Jimmy Inc. has decided to be the protector of Spike, and the movie has not given a single reason to help me understand.
Anywhere's better than here.
I've been to anywhere. It's not.
It is.
Samson! Samson!
Samson.
Were you lost and now are found?
Quoting something that sounds more like The Fray in a movie surrounded by Duran Duran. Richard Blade just sent the movie some bad new wave mojo. I'm no doctor, but I believe antipsychotics are supposed to typically stop auditory hallucinations. Convenient moon train linked memory is convenient.
I don't have a ticket.
Well, then, of course, the infected start fighting Samson because...
No ticket.
Not quite a human, no longer an infected. But seriously, he must be a carrier now, meaning he can't be with the infected anymore, but he also can't be with humans either. Why would you put Samson through all this just to leave him a Frankenstein's monster destined to be rejected by all?
Let's turn this up to 11.
While I find Number of the Beast to be a borderline perfect album, do you know what really would have turned things up to 11? Not letting Samson get away. You had the perfect attack dog, Kelson. I'm so bored of the post-apocalypse experts constantly pointing out that gas degrades over decades and would not last long in the apocalypse, and almost every movie and TV show set in the apocalypse ignoring that fact anyway. And that's 2 sins for making me repeat this sin yet again. Nerd! Enough with the Christ illusions. We f***ing get it. God damn. The movie never gives us the story behind the tiara's importance, and it should have. Would we also send the movie for wasting our time on exposition about the tiara? Yes. Yes, we would. The movie waits 1 hour and 25 goddamn minutes to Number of the Beast. I'm not even sure an Iron Maiden concert would make us wait that long. Baptized in blood while a heavy metal song plays, cliche. Guys, I no longer know what is going on.
How's that?
How's that is having your best sequence not come till over 80 minutes into the goddamn movie.
Behold, you are the fingers of my right hand.
Old Nick is an old dick to approximately 10 to 12% of the world's population. Also, Kelson agrees to go along with this at first, undermining his Dr. Do-Gooder, not afraid of dying characterization to date.
Pride moves inside me like maggots in the corpse of Christ.
So Pride is wriggling and using specialized mouth hooks to tear tissues while laying eggs in natural orifices or wounds. That is some gross and very detailed Pride he's got going on there. Also, it's wild how good Kelson is at this performance. It's almost like he should have been an actor instead of a doctor who just gives out morphine and heroin like it's candy on Halloween. He would have made a lot fewer people drug addicts that way for sure.
Submit always and immediately to my will, without any trace of pause or insolence, without any fucking backchat.
I always enjoyed the part in church where the preacher gave us all the rules on dealing with fucking backchat.
Grow the fingers from a fist.
Well, considering you kind of have to have fingers to make the fist, I'm not sure Jimmy Crystal understands the dynamics of fisting. Wait. Needing to see a kid to grow back your conscience instead of growing back your conscience for the same reason the rest of us do. Threats that our bad behavior will be filmed and uploaded to the internet.
And you know that in order for God's only Son to ascend and take his place by his Father's side, Christ was first required to be crucified.
If you had get the evil sadist's people to turn on him, negating the danger he presents to them, you or anyone else in your back pocket, why wouldn't you play that card regardless?
You are my only son, Jimmy. Jimmy.
Bringing Madonna lyrics into one sermon.
Do you really think this gangly old fucker is Satan? And if he is, could I do this?
Not backing away after condemning the unpredictable Jimmy Crystal to death. Also, a single stab wound shouldn't kill Kelson as quickly as this one does. He would be more likely to die a slow, painful death from sepsis. I'm glad they didn't show us that, but I'm going to sit them for it anyway. Kids.
I think you've suffered enough.
So now he gets to suffer the pain of seeing the last man on this island he admires bleed out. Way to spare the kid.
Spike, is it? Kelly.
And my name is Skip. Littering. Mama's boys. Redeemed anti-hero returns to thank the man who saved him at the coincidentally exact moment of his death cliché. Toombs, Little Green Men, Clyde Bruckman's Final Repose. Sorry, I thought we were just shouting out titles of X-Files episodes. Movie kills off this new trilogy's best character at the end of the second movie, but considering the box office response this movie got, there might not be a third film. But for now, at least, shame on you, Nia DaCosta and Alex Garland.
Father, why have you forsaken me?
Attempting to trick me into empathy for this psychopath again by calling back to the last thing he said to his real father at the beginning of the last film. Ambiguous potential hallucination cliffhanger that we will most likely never see the explanation for. Literally leaving us and Jimmy hanging. Wait, so in this universe, Oppenheimer is still alive?
Why help her defeated enemy?
Homeschool's positioning the central lesson of the film trilogy is about as unsubtle as giving the lead of each of the three movies some variation of the same name, leaving the front door wide open in an infected-filled apocalypse. Even after the experience with the Jimmys, Spike would rather run days in the opposite direction than go home and talk it out with his dad.
Heroin. Peppermint-flavored heroin.